So now let's go on context menu, right click. For example, if you click on each one in here, and for example, if you click on right click on them, for example, they have the first item in the name of update. It means that, for example, you can assign or add, for example, the new items to these selection sets or sections in here. If you've just selected them, if you click on update, it will happen. Duplicate, we talked about it. Let's go for copy name in here. Sometimes you will need to use these names. For example, you can click on copy name as an example in every kind of program that you want. For example, you can just copy that in here really easily. If you click on it and copy name, click on copy name, for example, and let's go in here, Control V, it will be pasted. It's Timeliner, for example, or even if you're using Clash Detective, for example, in here, you can just use these ones in the name as kind of Clash Metrics. For example, what does it mean? It means that I can go on structural framing. I can right click on it, copy name, and then, for example, in this part, Control V. You don't need to type it in here. As an example, yes, supply air. Yeah. Right click, copy name, and again copy name. Very easy. That, for example, we can check everything for clashings from these sets because we've just created that. This is a kind of foldering for us. This is really nice in here. And at the end, if you click on run, you can see the clashes or interferences in here that we can check them. Like this. You see? This is it. So let me return to select and let's close it. That we will talk about it in the future. So let's go into view. Let me just inactivate this one. Let's just right click again or each one that you want. You can right click on them. You can rename it, delete, hide, show. That we, of course, we have them here. Of course, if you click on each one, you can just hide them. Or, for example, if you click again on it, you can show it, or even right click on them, hide. And if you just right click again, you can just show them. The next form is save selection, save search. These two ones. So first comment, we talked about the comment, there is no difference between them. So let's right click, save selection. If you click on it, it will create a kind of save selection exactly from it. That, for example, the save search will be kept and saved. And for example, if you have another goal, you can just create another save selection for yourself. That, for example, we don't have any kind of changings on them. If we have a kind of update model, we have an older version of that for yourself. When I mean, for example, the new version or older version, I mean, for example, I created this one from this column. So I will go into Revit actually with on the structural file and we'll open exactly the same file in here. We'll wait that this file is opened. When it is opened, actually we'll go on to 3D view in here. So, and we'll go, for example, select these two columns, and we will create some copies, for example, from them, and let's save it. So let's go, for example, to this part actually, and let's have an export for NWC. Let's check where the path or direction of the file is, and let's save it in there. So let's paste the direction in here and let's save it. Save, yes, and exactly it will be saved on the structural file that we had. Let's refresh it. So this column got added in here. The point that we have in here, the time that we are using save search, and if you click on this, it will include these ones because the conditions and the criterion that, for example, we had, it will be for them too. So, but if you click on this one, the new ones won't be selected. This is a difference between save selection and save search, for example. So if sometimes we need actually, we want to have a kind of older version than the new version, we can use this technique. So in these situations, it could be really helpful for us. So we can just return into Revit actually, and let's delete these ones and let's save it again. NWC exporting, and for example that the changings that we had, of course, they are returned to the default and we don't need them. So let's return, let's go to Navis, refresh, it will be okay. So we can delete it, of course, in here. I just wanted to explain that to you. Let's right click again, save search, save selection, of course, here, clear new folder. It is the new folder that we talked about it, and sort. We have sort in here, there's no difference between them. Of course, we can just create sort, for example, based on the alphabet, A to Z, Z to A, everything that you want, for example. So you can define it in here. Right click, sort. Right click, sort. You see, it will be like this. So this is about the thing that, for example, we have in this part. If on an empty place, for example, you right click, you have some items in here that again, they're repetitive. For example, if something is selected, you can click on save selection. If, for example, you're using the find item, you can just turn it to save search, create new folder, import save search sets, you can import them, exporting, or for example, anything else. This is an empty place, and really interesting technique now. If you click on this wall or everything else, based on the name, for example, all of the walls now are selected. And really interesting technique is, if you select on some items, for example, you want actually to create a kind of save selection, it's enough that you just drag it into here. Automatically, a kind of save selection will be created. I can just click on one of these ones and it will go, for example, onto category, right click, copy value, right click, and rename, Control V. We didn't copy the name, I think. Copy value, right click, rename, and Control V. And we can understand by this technique very quickly. You can just create your save selections that, for example, by one dragging it happens.